like it's
Yes, she
working.
does. Grandma is available. Yep, Tom got hung up with some things and isn't available, and she learned about fishing, so then my rides were all falling through. Tried breakfast, but all covered now. Thank you.
I'll throw you money.
No,
You should.
Do you know how many people eat breakfast?
177.
Oh,
That was
that was a nice
huge
breakfast.
Yes.
It was a wonderful breakfast.
Oh, good.
Oh, it was. So beautiful, and it was so beautifully,
It was arranged nicely, wasn't it? The colors just popped with the Easter egg. You didn't have a chance to get there?
Well, church is over at 7:30 and then early service starts at 8 o'clock.
Right.
And the choir, I wondered if some of them would get back.
we did though, we all got
They
back.
did.
I sent your mom a little late. I'm like, Janine, aren't you supposed to be in there? It was like 8:06.
She just wants to make 5 altos get up so she can get in. I'm moving her next year.
She got in the other way though.
Oh,
Came in the other way. Because we were all ready to get up.
Can we start without Christie?
Do you want me to go get Christie, or do you want me to?
No, they're busy, I think.
Okay,
We can start.
then let's start.
Sure.
I'll call the meeting order at 4. Donkey,
Here.
Becky,
Here.
the boy,
Here.
Black, here,
Here.
Here. Here.
Oh, we go back, we can pick on each other.
We have to separate.
You might.
We have Jeff Swan is here. Do you have any comments today? You don't? Okay. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? None?
Unless there are some corrections or changes, I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
A second.
Hi there.
We got
If you need a blue chair, holler, everybody's complaining about those chairs. I'll get one.
I need one to put my junk on anyway, so I'll use that on my
Okay.
junk.
We were extremely busy up there. And a lot going on.
Are we having fun up there?
Yeah.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes. Everyone's had a chance to look at them, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, at the same time? Treasurer's report, I think Susan will make a copy of that.
Now, when it says deposit book sales, is that from the Weyauwega book?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then the next one, I'm assuming is that 181.43, is that, the royalty?
You know, and I meant to hit the bank before our meeting today, and I completely forgot, because I don't know, this came on the bank statement when I did the report, and oh, maybe that is. Because I did have to give them a, yeah, because I did have to give them a thing from our bank statement, so I bet that is what it is.
It's still a little bit.
Right, so we probably owe him some money.
Christie
Oh, no,
has
you
that
already
sheet
paid
made
him.
up.
With the census on
Yeah, I have 181.43.
That might be the royalties, because you said,
But,
oh no,
yeah,
Kim got
here.
that one, right?
That's what I thought, when I got this, that's what I thought the one was.
This is 181.25.
So I was gonna ask about it today. I thought it was actually just.
Oh, here it is, here's the 181.43.
Cause there wasn't a check in there.
Where, on the
Okay,
Thursday,
so
discrepancy,
yeah,
in what sense?
What does that mean?
Payment EFCL, excluding
Okay.
tax, 181.43. And looking at statements like that, you look and see.
Well, you said electronic.
So you didn't deposit it?
No, that one was an automatic one that showed up.
ACH, that's, somebody's pushing that into you. Yeah.
Okay, I had
It's
never
an
seen
automatic,
that.
yeah, ACH is an automatic deposit from somewhere to
All
that
right.
account.
All right.
I don't know what this
The publishing
all means
company.
as
From
far as-
Arcadia.
It must be royalties. But then why would Kim send us $90, which would be half of 180? Right?
So Kim sent,
Well, wasn't it last time? I think that's what I gave you last time, wasn't it? 'Cause that's what I was.
You put it in the minutes that you got $90 from Kim.
Did you ever set up an account for them to automatically deposit?
yeah, I did,
something?
you did. Now it
Okay.
happened to dawn on me, I did have to give them a
Routing.
Yes.
Deposit ticket.
Boy.
with the-
check.
Now here it says, received royalty check from Kim for sales of the book, 670 copies, through the publisher for $90.62. This is half the royalties as Kim kept the other half. Received statement from Arcadia about this will bring to meeting.
Okay, that's good.
And is that the same as the one that Sue got?
Well, no, this is the one I got. I doubt if you got it.
No, I didn't get one like that, mine was on the regular bank
Yeah.
statement,
Yep,
that
and
it
we
just said
did
deposit.
Yep.
And this was, March 20, the 20th of March. Forgot was that for our last meeting? Could've been about that.
17.
Okay, so it was after, so I thought it was after the last meeting.
And this was deposited March 21st.
I thought it had something to do with that, so I didn't study it. When was that deposit put in the bank? Is there a date?
Does it have a
Oh,
date
does-
on it?
March 21st.
Oh, you have it on there.
Yep.
Okay, so then that would have been, because this is dated the 20th.
I don't know what these two different people, I mean, this is the amount that you got, that you're
That I
showing
have.
came in from
Mhm.
me, but I don't know what all this other detail is about. Division balance, return, division. We'll just have to, maybe check that out or something, I don't know what.
Does Kim have a fax number?
His email.
Could you scan that into the computer and email it to him, and I'm sure he has
He's
worked
done it before.
with these, just ask him, circle the things, or ask him the questions that.
What are they really telling us, I guess, is what my
Right.
question is. There's a $270-some figure, then there's 97, 60. I don't know. what the
Maybe
division
Kim
balance-
could come to the meeting, our next meeting.
Is there a chance of any outside sales since that time, where this represents something totally different, or?
Well, we keep
Well, that's
track
the
of our
exact
own
amount
sales.
on
Okay.
this,
Okay.
so.
That amount just doesn't, I mean, that if Kim sent us,
$90.
what doesn't make sense is he shouldn't be sending us his half if we're getting a check from Arcadia.
No, no.
Maybe he sent us half of his check.
I don't know.
Thinking he was
Well, why don't you see if you can either get
They
him
should
here,
touch base
or
with
if he
him.
can touch base with us
Yeah.
somehow, or
Doesn't
with
really
you.
have to be the whole
We
meeting.
need some
No,
clarification.
There's no,
explain it.
yeah, there's no sense in
Uh-huh. Guesswork.
staying with this
I'll-
and guessing, exactly.
Do you want me to write on here, March 21st, automatically deposited in our, so he also knows that, so you have that
Yeah.
information?
So we need some.
9062 times 2 is 181.24. And this deposit was 181.43.
Well, it's 181.25, but then there's 18 cents added, so that's where the 140, so it's very, very close. It's 25 instead of becoming 24, but then they added 18 cents on, which who knows, I don't know if that's for you.
I would say, have Kim explain it to Jan Dalkey and Mary Worth. But I'm afraid that something might get lost in translation.
Yeah.
At least if I had to come back and explain what Kim explained to us, so that's why I suggested maybe he would be happy to come, tell where we stand with the book so far.
Unless you could call him tomorrow and find out, just tell him we gotta,
We just need clarification,
Yeah.
what, if he knows, if he's seen this before, and what the money was that he gave us, or,
I have a better idea.
Unless
Call
you-
them and let them know, can we keep all the money we've gotten so far? We're happy. I mean,
Just keep it coming, right?
Yeah, keep it coming.
I wondered, did, you know, he bought several.
Yes.
Did he sell those and get royalties from those sales?
He may,
You can ask him that.
he said he would give half of,
So that
Well,
might
how
be
many
what
did
that
he
was.
take though?
but I didn't, I thought he was
bought 'em.
only gonna do half of what, you know, the royalties we got from the company.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
Well,
Because we're selling, we bought the books for less than
Yeah,
they're selling
we got
for. So
a
we already
major
got,
discount.
yeah.
Okay, any other questions on
Oh, do we have a
Library
CD
fund.
question?
It was renewed at .850.
okay,
It did not go up.
actually today, or
Yes,
tomorrow?
tomorrow.
I move to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the treasurer's report as printed, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Did you see, what percent did you say?
.850 is what it showed, it will be renewed at unless by some odd chance it changes, tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Okay, we move on to the children's library report.
They've been busy.
You see the pilot decoration?
Yes.
I wanna walk
Really
really now.
She's marched the spot a couple times.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Where do they go in that room?
Yeah.
Very
So there's gonna be a treasure hunt, I take it.
Probably, and it was all Carly, so. She got the good party.
I see you had good attendance at that Kids in Money.
Yes, that was good
They're
to
really
see.
happy, and they gave free books out. It was some promotion through, I don't know, the state or whatever, but Kelly signs up for it every year, and we've been doing it every year for a while, but then they provide free books to hand out to whoever attends, but the books didn't come in time.
Did they
So-
get piggy banks too?
No, it was
Oh.
just a free book. So then she came down and dug some books out that we gave away for the summer reading program, and gave them away because the other ones didn't come in, so. I don't know if they did yet, but anyway, so she gave free books out.
What is the ELF program? What does
Okay,
it
it's
stand for?
early literacy, I can't remember, fun maybe, I can't remember what they said. It's early, but they're gonna try, or did she describe it here? I don't know if she described, but they're gonna try to do a early literacy type program and have it going on at the same time as that Bookin'. Cause the Bookin' is more for kind of elementary, then this would be for preschoolers at the same time, and they would, you know, do, I don't know, if they do colored number shapes, you know, directions, or, you know, play, you know, some types of early literacy thing, probably some stories, and, I'm not sure what all they'll do, but, you know.
32 scarves. That's like one a day for, over one a day for a month.
Wow.
Oh, I just, I had a question on Christmas.
I figure the weather may start to improve. Maybe today. huh?
Yeah.
That's good.
Any other questions about hers? Okay, we got the card tables, and, they're here somewhere, I'm guessing they're probably put in that room.
I better look and check before I go home.
Cause I know I put them somewhere, and I think that's where we
I
said.
think we talked about it.
What is Afterburn Aviation?
It's a club of a remote control airplane group, and it's a regional thing, so it's like Wisconsin Rapids, Appleton, maybe Wausau, I can't remember, but I know Rapids and Appleton area. And then, so this is somewhat of a central location, and so we meet here for their meetings. They just started, they've probably been here 3 times maybe. But they just, I don't know if they can meet here, so it's a nonprofit thing, you know, so. Just to know what it is. Yeah, I never heard of it before, I think it's new too, so. Okay, this fiber stuff, when it came, you know, we're getting more fiber, so the way he described it is we've got this much area to go through, and, see now how would you describe that? You probably could describe it better, but it doesn't really go any
Fiber.
faster, but if it doesn't have enough fiber to get through, then it slows the whole thing down. So this will just give more access, more people can get on, but it won't be any faster than it was before, but there'll be more availability.
Right, able to access more users at one time.
Yeah, okay, good. So he came with, somebody from, Re-Energies, no, CenturyLink, yeah. And then they took these pictures, and then they did this up, and so then I gave this to the electrician, so he'd know exactly what he wanted to do where and all this stuff. And so then we were supposed to get the electrician for a bid, and so, I just called Elke then, and, he put a bid in of $700. He said it's not real firm, cause he said, it could be less, he said, but they have to drill through the seal for that real thick concrete, you know, so I think it came, and, we had trouble with that. And so then, after we got this, we were supposed to email it to, Owls, because they're gonna see if they can get some funding for it. They may or may not get some, but if we do get it, it would be after the fact, and we'll have to pay it, and then we might get reimbursed for some.
And I'm okay in my budget on that for building and ground, so we're okay.
Something's good, so, that's in the works.
Now, the only question I have, where's the drilling from the outside coming into the building, at what level?
That's, okay, it's
Above
the
ground?
Weyauwega's doing that part, not Elke, and it's gonna be in that corner, and on that wall, but that corner kinda-ish, and he wants to come through the basement, or, you know, below, not through the wood, through the basement.
Foundation.
Yeah, foundation, so, I think it says in here. but-
The only stipulation that's going to come from me is I want that opening waterproofed. I don't wanna end up with any water coming in through there. Not like what we had back here by the
Right.
elevator shaft.
I would think it would.
They've
but
done
that's-
this before, but just mention to them, we've had water coming through when we've had some drilling done, and it has to be waterproof by the time they're done. They can seal it, they have stuff to seal it with, so.
Okay, it's CenturyLink's responsibility to provide a penetration point from the outside into the building.
And if necessary, call me when they're doing it, and I'll make
Okay.
sure that it
And it
is.
kinda sounded like we would be like September or fallish or something, you know, cause they're, you know, I don't know what order they're going in, but anyway, ours wouldn't be done till fall sometime. At least that's what they're estimating, and I'm sure that could change, but.
So are we on everybody's schedule then, if I'm understanding you right?
Well, I haven't, given a final okay to Elke or anything, cause I haven't got a final date for the other
Okay.
either, so it's still all up in the air, and I don't think we'll probably get a final date until, you know, probably fallish, you know, until they really know how long it takes, and then, what I'm guessing is they'll get it done or whatever, then they'll have me call the electrician after that, but I can give them a rough estimate, but they probably won't really.
So they're not in a hurry once they drill through and come in and have,
Yeah, then they have to
Okay.
wait for the electrician, so I will try to line it up, but it's so far off now, I doubt if their date is real accurate.
okay.
But, and I'm sure he'll let me know when it gets closer, so,
The only reason I'm even bringing it up, I don't wanna end up with them drilling and then saying, okay, now we're waiting for Elke, and then we get too late and
yeah.
get into winter.
Yeah, no, I think they do it and then they leave, and then
Okay.
the electrician does it, and then we let them
Okay.
know, and then I think they come back and
All right.
And let's see here. And this is the interlibrary loan credit we get. What was it? Oh, no, that isn't about the interlibrary, it's about the search for the different areas, so. It's here somewhere here. Anyway, so they're supposed to be at 70%, I guess is what they're figuring. When we get to, oh no, 100%. So, that, I don't know if that's an absolute for sure thing or not, but we just print out of it anyway. I don't know if I talked about this.
So are you saying there's always a lag between when the CERT figures are actually
Yeah, I think.
tallied and when we
Yeah, I
get
think
credits?
it's probably the year after, but I don't know, it could be a 2-year lag, I don't really know, but, cause they have to estimate it on something and then they wait for
Sure.
the figure and then we do it. Okay, these shows are 2013, which probably determines 2015, so it's probably a couple of years then. Oh, and so then this is the years on there. Oh, anyway, that's probably for the next year. Let's see now. Did I talk about the thing about Brown County?
No.
No, okay. I got this, it was Act 157 signed by the governor then on March 27th. And that if a consolidated library bills another entity for circulation, then the other entity can bill them. And, okay, so if Brown County's consolidated, so if they would bill, like Appleton for their use, for their circs that they did, then Appleton can bill them back, and they would owe them more money than we would owe them.
Mhm.
If that makes sense. We lend more to them than they lend to us. So actually, they should be paying us, but we can't bill them. But they could bill us. But now this bill went through that if they bill us, we can bill them back.
Oh,
It's high time for that
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
because Brown County's been sitting there with that for how many years? And sending out $1,000 bills to all these libraries.
Although I think they just kind of started that. I don't think they did. Then all of a sudden, I think
The
they
last 2 or
realized
3
they-
years
Yeah, last
they've
2, 3
been-
years. They have,
Mhm.
yeah. So they've done it. But anyway, so
Well, it's
that's.
Yeah, we would not want to get a bill for $30,000 all of a sudden that we
It's
didn't
like
know about.
Patrick said,
Yeah,
because he was on the county board. The county board is nasty to the library board, so the library board turns around. I had a question on, when you turned in $386 to the city, is that a huge amount for fines? That seems a lot.
Yeah, usually I try to turn it in at like 200 or 100 and some, 180.
Oh, I
but
thought
was
it
on
all occurred
vacation.
at once, like there
It
was.
is. Well, oh no, I don't know, but I was on vacation kind of right before that, and
Mhm.
so when I was gone, I was gone 2 weeks, so it kind of built up, and sometimes it comes in fast and sometimes really slow. I mean, and you never know. And so evidently the 2 weeks I was gone, probably a couple $100 came in anyway, because I don't think it was that high before I left, because I think I deposited or checked it, I think, the week before I left, but maybe not the last day, I don't know.
Do we have a lot of outstanding?
All the time. Yeah. But we get a lot in too. And I did get a thing from, I'd never gotten a comparison from the city, so I can compare what they said to I said. And so I emailed Pat this week and I asked him for that. And, okay, so I got that, but they didn't put down our petty cash. I put it down for the budget, so then it comes out of the budget, so then they pay back that money and into the fines, because that's where it really comes from. And and they didn't reimburse us for the March petty cash, but so I emailed him, and then he emailed back that that's gonna show up next month, a $51 thing. So according to this, after January deposit was $1,563. So we have, that wouldn't be exactly, because this needs to be added in that, and that's part of April, so anyway, so that's kind of about where we are. But other years, you know, we've got around about 6,000 or so, we're a little over that. Exactly. So,
It's quite the money maker.
yeah. But we had that, like, a dry, like, it wasn't that much came in March only, but then we had that big one for April though, so that's probably should have been probably in March, so hopefully we can even sell it.
So how much of a fine do you have to build up before you can't draw any more books?
$5.
Oh.
$5. So, and we have a lot of $5 ones, or, you know, up to 5, because they can leave $5 on and still check out, so we've got a lot of them that are at $5. But then if they have one fine over it, then we get more, you know. But, you know, it's the ones that don't have any fines, check out a dozen movies or so and don't return anything. So then the bill is, you know, 150, you know, that's how it happens, because they're just fine. And then all of a sudden, they don't bring something back or something is lost, so who knows what happens, or they move and they take it with them, or. But that's how they get so high on the high ones, but it is $5 and it's lost, which is, I think, you know, reasonable.
Before we go too far off the subject, do we have any loans with Brown County? Are we at all?
Because we're far enough
We have
away
not,
that we've
okay.
never been having anything, we've not,
So in that
affected by
sense,
that
it
at
has
all.
not affected
No,
us at
it
all.
hasn't affected
Okay.
us. And then anyway, right before I left, Pat had emailed these reports then of the finance. So I thought I was gonna get to light them up like I did before, you know, but no. They had the salaries and the retirement and that health insurance and all that stuff on it, but they don't have the other stuff on there, so they don't have the regular monthly total. So I emailed him, and then he said, well, we're gonna have to get together about this, and then I couldn't get together when he wanted to, and then, so now we emailed back and forth, and, maybe next week, I guess, but, you know, because then he sent me another one today, and that, none of these down here figured out with what I had down, so I don't know what it is, but they're not matched up, so I guess we have to meet sometime. It's probably just the way they're, I don't know what it is, but it's a mess. I hope we get it straightened soon,
This is
though,
because they have a whole different system.
yeah. And I don't think it's down pat the way to
program
do
or
it
whatever.
yet, you know, and then he said about the petty cash, it's something about, oh, once we get it set up right, it should automatically do it or something. No, I don't know. But then after that, then he sent me another one, said that it'll show up next month, so, I don't know.
And all we can do is keep our
Just
fingers
wait.
crossed, because he was going to be here tonight about something else,
Oh.
and he's not here tonight. They have been busy, and now that they started that project up at the park, apparently
What is going on up there?
It's a new bathroom and what have you that they're putting in, because they had troubles with the old one. And they've tied into having some of the city guys up there with the company that they hired, so he's been short for the last 2 weeks, and he said, oh, this has been a nightmare. And so, hopefully we can get it all straightened. And then, of course, they had all the water bills, you know, with running the water and making all those adjustments, so he said, it's just been a zoo. And about the time he thinks he's caught up on one, something else comes up, so.
And I helped with the deputy scholarships, and that went real fine, kind of fun. It was 2 full days, though. We did interviewed 28 students. We started chess and tennis again, and tennis safe had several kids, but chess isn't taking off. And the one time they didn't have anybody when they had won, and so, you know, nobody comes for probably stop that again. Then, is it Shelley Young, or I don't know if that's a daughter or the mom, but anyway.
Shelley is the daughter,
Daughter.
Carol is the mom.
Carol, okay, came by and wanted to know if we wanted to do something again at the Summerfest, I was wondering, would that be a good time to sell the book, the Weyauwega book? Or not, I don't know, I just thought of that.
Probably, the only thing is and it's hot.
It has been hot days.
Was.
And then, no? Unless somebody else wants to do it.
If someone else wants to do it,
Okay,
that'd be
but I'll
fine.
put no down for that. And then,
What about Kim? Kim wanna do that?
He might.
I don't know.
But I think he's pretty busy with other
I choose.
Civil War things
Especially in the
in the summertime, because that's when they have,
Reenactments and whatnot.
That's not the same
he doesn't do reenactments, but
No.
they do all the cemetery.
presentations and, that isn't the same, when is the, Iowa car show?
July,
Usually early.
Early.
yeah, something like that.
Oh, yeah, because he's an old car buff too, big time.
And then I thought, if she left, I thought, oh, I wonder if we should try to do a chess tournament or something there, because they said for the younger kids, they have the bouncing thing and they golf and stuff for the younger kids, but they didn't mention chess, but afterwards I thought, well, that kind of would be a different age group, and if they came, but I don't know if a lot of that age group come. They don't think people still.
I know it's hard to find a place to park.
That's for sure.
You're way down Parker Street.
But I thought, so anyway.
What?
Dave was in today, so I asked him if that's anything he'd be interested in trying a tournament there or just playing chess, and he said, well, he thought just playing would probably be better than a tournament, so anybody could just, step in and play a game or whatever, but he said he'd think about it, and it sounded like he probably would, as long as they had the date free, would we want him to do that? I mean, is that something that
I bet that people would like cribbage.
better than that?
There's a lot of people, and, I mean, my grandkids like to play cribbage.
Because we did that for several years, but Corky did it, and now she passed away, so she was our main contact here.
Whatever you work on.
If he wants to try it, let him try it, if he's free and
Well, I thought-
willing to do it, and see how it goes.
Now, if he does it, we'll probably have to take tables over, because I'm guessing all the tables will be, with the pig rolls that we will be eating. So there probably won't be tables, so we probably have to take some tables over, but that wouldn't be too rough on them, it'd be an uneven ground with it. And I would
Yeah,
think.
I think take some of the wooden ones,
Two.
the old ones.
The heavy ones.
Three heavy ones, yeah.
There you go.
Good idea, Scott.
Leave it there.
Oh, he's there, yeah, there we go. But I think we wouldn't have the chairs, because they'll have chairs for the church set up, and so we could just pull chairs for that, but we're probably not going to do tables.
Now, the only thing is, if you take the tables up, be aware of the fact if he's not manning them, they're going to be used to eat.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the shelter tables were pretty full last year, so, that's something we wanna think about as we get closer and make sure we're okay there.
Well, we bought some a long time ago when we went, we did the chess for a couple years ago, and I think we bought like 4 of them, maybe, and we had, I think he said, he told me today how many we got, it might be 8, but we did buy some of them. Some of them.
But they would advertise that and have that in the brochure, so you need to know, so.
Right, probably. And then, okay, the membership fee, we got like a credit of $965, pretty good. Happenings, I made up the impulse that Otis said this time of year, with the snow melt, and he said it looked real good, so he said it was a little bit, not to worry that it was real good.
Couldn't have been enough to set off the alarm, so.
Oh, yeah, the school board packets. Should I throw some of those away? I don't know. Do we need-
Keep a record of them.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
those,
keep
so.
a record if somebody would want them. I know we post here.
Yeah, you know, I think they have them because of all the controversy per se a long time ago. And so people can come look at it, but I don't think there's that controversy anymore. I don't know why we would need to
Right,
keep them.
and they've got, if they really want to, there is a copy available.
I think we're obligated to post, here our agendas and that type of thing.
And they could go to you, the school, and get
Sure.
past ones if they want. Okay, should we keep current here or not even next month and throw it out? If you guys can just keep the
We
new
had it
one on
from
there?
2003.
Yeah.
I think it's 7 years, as far as records and whatnot, we need to hang on for 7 years.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to keep it. You know, it
I
would,
guess
if
that's not-
anybody, I would think it would be you that would have to
Yeah,
keep
we
it.
have to, we
Yeah,
have to.
but I don't think
You're
we
just
would have
doing
to.
it as a service.
Right,
Yes,
service.
Yeah.
right.
Here and at the city and all the other places we submit them.
So I don't know if we could just throw this as soon as we get a new one. I mean, I don't know, if we need to keep past ones at all.
Do you wanna save a tree and just say he doesn't have to send it to the library? If we know they officially can be
We can
contacted
send
to get that.
we can send electronic one.
Yeah, but then we have to print off the public one and everything.
No.
So, because I think it's just a place, like you probably, like we have to post our meetings, you know, so it's
Right.
available, that's probably kind of the same thing.
You never get that.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that, but you know, they could easily look at them and they would know.
I guess I wouldn't wanna stop bringing them over.
Yeah,
or submitting
yeah,
them.
I mean, I just
Yeah.
would get them, but
Right,
whether we should
maybe annually.
throw it as
Keep
soon
it
as
for a
we get it,
year.
or
Yeah,
keep it for,
I was
keep
gonna
it for
say
each year.
6 months or do it the current year and get rid of
For a
it.
year and then.
Okay, so we'll get rid of last year's and then start looking at this year.
How long has it been since these minutes were published in the local newspaper?
Minutes?
They used to always be published in the school.
Still
in the-
there?
Yeah, they're-
the Chronicle.
They're still in the room,
Right.
So
Approved.
that's, they have access that way,
but then people don't buy that.
but they could go on, can't they go online and access the county post?
Go to our school website.
There might be a fee if you go online.
Oh, yeah.
I would think if you just keep the year, when you get the next, each month you could even throw one out. Just
Right. Keep it
That
annual
way.
here.
And still going out each time, the
Yeah.
last one.
Yeah.
And then how many trustees have to keep the minutes of of our library board meetings?
You've got copies.
And for how long?
Yeah, in the things, yeah,
Right.
so. As long as they're in the packet.
Forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. Okay, and then there's, one other thing that I didn't get in there because it was later. You know, we have the disc cleaner upstairs for the movies and stuff, so we don't clean until they tell us they're skipping or whatever. And it seems like this last couple of times that we clean them and, I play them on our computer, I just skip forward in my office and they'll freeze up. So then, last couple of times I've taken them home to see if they work on my home one, and they're not working there either. So I don't know whether our disc cleaner is just not doing a good job or whether these are just really shot. So I contacted Weyauwega and asked if I could come and try cleaning a couple on theirs and see what kind they have and see, if we clean them on that and they work, then we need
Yeah,
a new one.
right.
Is there
But
a replacement, anything that needs to be replaced periodically on? I don't know
Yeah,
if there's like.
there's a, like a sandpaper thing, but we did replace them. Oh, probably his cousin was Sharon was here when we did that. But I think we got a couple extras and then we just put some glue on there and do it.
I would, if they're willing to let you try it.
And they emailed back that I could, I said, well,
a couple
sometime
that
this
you know
week.
are bad.
That's what I thought, I kept those sponge that I tried at home and
Yep.
they wouldn't play. And I thought, well,
Try.
so anyway, I'll be doing that sometime this
Worth
week.
a try.
Try that. And I think that's all. Stuff. Any other questions?
Thank you very much for the list.
It's interesting.
Oh, yeah, I also thought of Mexican training or at that park thing too.
The Domino's?
But then again, I have to find time to do it.
one, and maybe you're going to be able to illuminate the story a little better than I did. Apparently, there's going to be a major phone change, and did Patrick talk to you about that? Because we have listened to Christie about the high bills and what have you. And the city is going to make a change apparently, and where it was like $2 a minute on the phone service, it's going to be down in 13 cents a minute to the one they're going, but that's not going to happen overnight, it's happening over the next 3-4 months. So apparently they're looking at it, and they'll be discussing with you before anything gets finalized there, but it is a major change, and it will be.
Because I did change from AT&T long distance coverage to CenturyLink long distance coverage, so those goofy bills were from AT&T, so I did make a change.
But this may even be
Slightly better,
cheaper
yeah.
yet,
Is this a
and
different
especially if
carrier?
we can work between the city and
Yeah.
us and get a rate on that one. I mean, when you're talking pennies rather than dollars,
What does this say have right now?
I'm not sure who they have right now, the city.
Can we change?
Yeah, well.
Their own private lines?
Oh.
I mean, a
What?
different
Yeah.
carrier coming into town, you know, that's what I was wondering.
Charter.
If it's a new,
Yeah, I don't know, but he was planning on being here tonight to discuss that, and apparently he couldn't make it, so. And then the only other thing I have talked to him, and I said, the train is ready, all the stuff is ready to go. He's, oh, Frank, I'm short again, and I'm still catching up and what have you. Right now, tentatively set for tomorrow, that we'll put the train up. Unless, again, he's short-handed or something, and then that will change, but I'm hoping we
Train is
can get
done.
it up. Train is done.
And you're happy with it?
I'm very happy with it. I'm gonna be happier once it's up there and secured, and then I can say, whew. Yeah, we will find out how bird-proof it is. We tried our darndest between Edie and I in getting it bird-proofed, and he did a good job from underneath so that they shouldn't be able to get into there. So I'm hoping we basically have it. Was not the easiest to fix because he had problems. A lot of that was in brass, and brass, the minute you put heat on there, starts melting and deforming. And so he said, you know, I did what I could. It looks okay. If you're gonna be this far from it, you're gonna say, oh, wow. But from down below, I think with the paint and everything else, it looks good, so. And I'm gonna be anxious to see the cars that we have in here up there to see how that whole thing plays out. And other than that, the only other thing I can say is as I walked by the front today, that hole seems to be getting a little wider and a little deeper by that light out there, and that, again, if anybody has any suggestions out there, let me know, because I don't know what else to do. We'll fill it again, but, you know, if filling just keeps on going, I'm hoping it doesn't all of a sudden suck up our whole library
Yeah.
like they have with some of these sinkholes.
Did you notice, Frank, and everyone else, when you walk in, there's that black section that's retaining wall seating area?
Mhm.
There's a couple bricks missing in the top,
Yes.
on the
I'm
corner
gonna
there,
have
and
to-
I just noticed it when I was coming in today, I don't know if it's heaved out or what.
I've noticed it. We've had problems because what happened when the original wall went up, it did not get sealed and moisture got into it. So then I had the guys come and they tuck pointed the entire thing and said, with that moisture in there, it's hard to, and if we seal it and there's moisture in it, it'll just explode. So
I just saw a couple
we
missing.
have a problem, and I have a feeling I may have to get some mason in here that can do it and redo it and then waterproof the whole thing again. So, yes, it is, and I need to pick some up because parts of the block are off the lawn, so.
I did find those old insurance maps, but there's no indication of any water lines of any kind or wells or
Okay.
anything like that. But I looked them over pretty carefully.
And
But
then where
I
that
think
hole
there
is?
probably was a well for the old Whitney Hall, don't you?
I would almost think something to that.
It was a public hall for years.
Yeah.
You would think they
In this
would have had at least a
area?
pump or something,
Yeah.
some kind of water for the facility. They had all kinds of doings there.
You know, for me, it's been a blessing that the reports have been dry in that
Yes.
elevator shaft. Because that one, especially this year, I thought, oh boy, with that snow melt, and are we going to have a major problem? But somehow it is taking care of itself, and I hope I'm not speaking, yes, I agree. I hope I'm not speaking too soon, but right now, thank goodness.
Pretty soon, Frank, you won't have anything to do. The building and
Wait a
ground.
minute.
We'll think it's
Christie is working here yet, right? She knows how to use the phone.
Isn't there, with all the technology, a piece of equipment that you can put over that section to tell us if there is a hole and how far down
One would think.
If I
Makes
can,
sense. We should
if
invent
I
one
can
of those.
convince Patrick that he's going to talk to Cedar Corporation and they will bring some piece of equipment in, I do not want to pay for the kind of equipment that it would
No.
take to come in here, because that would not be cheap. Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
give it a
Yeah.
lot.
And it is something that Patrick will listen to, because he's looked at that situation out there and also concerned about it, because with this, they've listened to that enough. And now that problem, is there a connection? And so he's talked to Cedar Corp, whether something will be done this summer, I'm not sure.
Do you want anything about that light fixture in the minutes?
No, I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know, last month, I think we said that we keep an eye on it.
It's there, yeah,
We're
that's,
still
that's
keeping an
about
eye
it.
on
We'll
it?
keep an eye on it, we'll continue. That's it?
All right. I don't know if we have any old business. I did get a call from the mayor. Did you, Sue, get a call from him?
Yes, I did.
And I apologize, I spoke for both you ladies, he couldn't reach you, and he had a meeting, and he said, would they be willing? I said, I thought we discussed it, and I thought Patrick was here and heard it, and he said he didn't, but if it's okay, you're the go-to guy, I just called you and I'll dominate him. Thank you.
He did.
Congratulations, ladies.
Yes,
Yeah.
congratulations.
And
He did try to reach each one of you,
Yeah, he
he
did.
said he
He
could.
did, he finally did.
Okay.